I'm on here.
Hi, Sophia. How are you? I'm Lynna.
Hi.
Hi. Are you by yourself in the kitchen today?
I think my mom's gonna come.
Okay. This is meant for most kids to hopefully be able to do most of it on their own, but it's handy to have a parent nearby too. So it's great to have you. You're coming from the furthest away. We have friends from Arkansas who are joining us, but they're in a different time zone. Hi, Lori. Are you guys gonna have dinner tonight, Sophia? Or are you gonna wait till tomorrow?
Sorry.
That's okay. Are you gonna have dinner tonight or tomorrow, Lori and Sophia?
Tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow. Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
We went for a hike and then came back home.
Yeah.
We just had dinner.
Yeah, no, it would be late to have dinner at like 8:30, unless you're in Italy, of course. Hi, everybody. Hey, Taryn. Hey, Xiaomei. Hi, Clayton.
Hi.
Hi, Natalie. Natalie's joining us from Ashland, Oregon. How are you? Great. Hi, Mayati from Berkeley. Hey, Michael. Hey, Tegan.
Hi.
Hi. Great to have you. Hi, Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong's here. Yeah. Wow, we have such a great group already. Hi, Mr. Wong.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Fine. Trying
Yeah?
to watch you.
Yeah?
Yes,
Thank you for joining.
sure.
We'll see a lot of our friends here.
That's good.
So we have you in Louisiana, but we also have friends in Arkansas who are joining us too.
Good.
Yeah, and then we have our furthest away friend is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Hey, Ro. Hey, Sonia. I see you, Sonia. Sonia from right up the street. Hi.
Didi, can you turn it down, please?
Hi.
Hey,
Didi,
hi.
turn it
Who's
down.
that? Who said hi? Oh, Graham. Hi, Grammy.
No, not
Oh,
Graham.
it's Oliver. Hi, Oliver. That was Oliver.
Looks like Graham.
Hi, Cam.
Yeah, looks like Graham.
Hey. Hey, Miley. Hey, Lisa. Hi, Ella. Hi, Owen.
Hi, Lynna.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, Tim. Hey, Lily.
What's up in my video?
Lily back there. So great to see you all. Hey, Baba Justin. Hi. Thank you for the pastries, guys. You saved us from breakfast yesterday. It was a total treat. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hi.
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Ellie. Hi, Kailani. Hi, Gianna.
Hi, Lena.
Hi, hey, Raina. Hi, Lisa. Hi. Hey. Mimi, remind me not to shout, okay? I'm gonna try not to shout. Clara tells me or Emmett tells me I shout. I'm just gonna try not to keep my voice down. But if I start shouting, Mimi, I have this tendency to shout when I see a lot of people in front of me because I think I'm teaching my class. But really, I don't need to shout because I should be talking to you like you're in my kitchen. So, so just go like this, Mimi, if I'm starting to shout, okay? Okay. All right, everybody. Let's see. Hi, Hi, McKenna. All right. Wow, we have such a great representation of people from all over. We have friends from Pittsburgh and Louisiana. And we have friends we have family from Southern California. We have friends right up the street, Sonia and Rosa. We have friends in Palo Alto and Los Altos and Berkeley and down the street, LA, Oakland, Asher. Hi, Asher. Hi, Jane.
Hi.
Hi, Walnut Creek. We have San Leandro. Hey, Aiden. Hey, Aiden and Ella. Hi, Grayson. Hi. Hi to Foster City. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Shayna. So great to have you. From Piedmont, we have Michael in Oakland, Mayati in Berkeley, and Taryn and Coda just down the street also. So great. Okay, so it's 5:02. And oh, I see some more people coming and joining us. This is such a great turnout. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for, first of all, for joining and being on time, but for second, for being willing to try this pretty ambitious recipe. There are a lot of ingredients and a lot of steps involved. So I'm going to try to move us along, but also try to wait as needed. So if anyone needs help, just remember you can raise your hand, or you can, I have my executive producer, Clara, here, and she'll be able to let me know when there's a hand raised, and I'm going to be paying attention to all of you too. And if I see anybody kind of like waving at me, I'll know to unmute you, or to just so you can ask a question. So I'm going to try to keep us unmuted when we can. Hey, Austin.
Hello.
Hey. I'm going to keep us unmuted as much as possible, but if things start to get noisy and it's hard to hear me talk, then I'll have Clara unmute us all. But okay, so we're going to get started. I see one more person starting to enter. I'll greet her and then we'll get going. Oh, two more people.
Oh, quick question, Lynna.
Yeah.
Question. Should we take the chicken out to come
Yes.
to the temperature?
Yes. Go ahead and take your chicken out if you haven't already. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Hi, Talia. Do I see Talia somewhere? Talia and Ko and Noah, yeah? Do I see you guys, Ko and Noah? Hi, Avery. Hi, Joyce. Are your kids coming?
My kids are free ranging on their bikes. I don't think they wore a watch. So
Okay.
I'm making their dinner until they
All right, okay. They're gonna pass for today.
Cutting board here
But they
too.
owe you dinner.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Talia. So fun to see you in your kitchen. Okay, Avery. So anyone else? Okay, so if you haven't already, go ahead and take your chicken and your cream out of the refrigerator. So go ahead and take your cream and your chicken out of your refrigerator. And the next thing is also to turn your oven on to broil. So wait for everyone to do that. Turn your oven on to broil and take your chicken and your cream out of the fridge. Okay, and the other thing is, hey Ko, what's up?
What do you mean by cream?
Yeah.
What do I mean by cream? Cream, this ingredient, cream.
I thought it was coconut milk or cream.
Coconut milk or cream, yes. Karen, yes. You can use coconut milk or cream. Sorry. Coconut milk or cream. Take your tofu or your chicken or your paneer out of the fridge. Okay, and turn on your broiler. And if you haven't already, get started on your rice. So if your rice should already either be cooking or be cooked already, because we're not going to touch the rice at this point. This is not part of our cooking lesson. We're just going to deal with the chicken or the tofu, the tikka masala part, and the sautéed greens. All right, everybody. Yes. Hi, Clayton.
On our oven, we have like 3 broil settings.
Yeah.
Like which setting? Like I think 3 is the highest.
Yeah. Do it the highest.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. And when you open your oven, everybody, try to have your oven rack about 8 inches below the burner, the top of the oven. Okay, so I'm gonna have you look at my oven so you can see where my rack is, and try to have your oven rack pretty like towards the upper half of your oven. So I'll show you mine. So here, you can see here's the top of my oven here, and here's my rack. So it's kind of near the top half of my oven. My oven has like a pretty big flame, so mine is probably a little bit lower than yours will be, but kind of keep it in the top third of the oven. You're gonna want your chicken, when we put it in, you're gonna want your chicken to kind of char. I'll tell you more about that later, but we want it pretty close to the top of the burner so it'll really kind of get a nice char on your chicken. Okay, so go ahead and get your sheet tray that has parchment paper or foil on it. Grab a pair of tongs. We're gonna place our chicken onto our sheet trays now. Oh. So don't forget to turn on your oven if you haven't already. Make sure your rice is cooking. Make sure your chicken and your cream is out. I'm gonna take a pair of tongs now. I'll show you, this is what my chicken looks like. Thank you for those of you who watched and marinated along with me. And I love it when you guys ask me questions. So if we do this again in the future, if we do other pre-marination steps, always feel free to ask questions. So I have my chicken mixture here. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it on my tray. It really doesn't matter what direction you lay your chicken on, whether it's the front side or the back side, or it's however you want it to be, because we're gonna be turning and flipping the chicken. So I'm gonna place my chicken onto my sheet tray. And if you have marinade dripping, you can go ahead and just let it kind of drip back into your bowl. You don't have to scrape it all off, but just kind of have the chicken, try to leave most of the marinade behind. So go ahead and take your tongs or your fork and lay your chicken onto your sheet tray. Yes, who has a question? Michael, yes, what's your question? Hi.
We didn't do the marinade yesterday.
Okay, when did you do it?
We just didn't do it.
Oh, okay, you didn't marinate your tofu?
No.
Okay, so did you see a list of spices?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would do at this point, Michael, is I would quickly mix up a bowl of yogurt, 1 cup of yogurt with those spices in it, and the garlic and the chicken. Yeah, and then throw your tofu into that. Karen, was that your voice?
Yes.
Oh, hey,
hey, question. We used Greek yogurt and added milk to it during the marination. We were wondering. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You have to make do with what you have. And that's perfectly fine. All right. So go ahead and lay your chicken. My chicken's kind of touching. It's okay if they're touching each other. I'm probably going to just barely fit my chicken onto one tray. They're going to shrink a little bit as they cook, so it's okay if they're a little crowded. Oh, what's your question, Sophia?
This is Daddy Monitor here. So with an oven in specific, so we have a broil and then we have 2 settings. So I usually put it in broil and then also set the temperature to broil. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my chicken bowl, my marinade chicken bowl, and my tongs that touch the raw chicken into the sink. We don't need this anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven under the broiler. If you have a timer nearby, set it for about 3 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer. So if we've all put in our chicken at about the same time, it doesn't have to be exactly 3 minutes, but it's just a good measure for me. I'm gonna put it in for 3 minutes and I'll have everybody check their chicken in 3 minutes. Okay, so
it's not heated yet.
Okay, that's fine. The broiler, yeah, the broiler, it can, it should, yeah, my broiler turns on right away. Some people's broilers might turn on right away. You'll see the coil on top just get really red and hot.
Lynna, are we doing it on high broil?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Heidi.
Our oven is only 150 degrees. That doesn't seem very hot.
Wait, who is this asking me? What? Deborah.
Deborah.
Yeah?
So what temperature should it be at? Our oven is only 150 degrees right now.
Do you have a broiler setting? A broil setting?
Yeah, but I think it just takes a while to heat up.
Okay, that's fine. Just go ahead and put your chicken in when it gets as hot. You want it to be at the hottest temperature possible.
Okay, so just wait. Okay,
so Deborah, do you have a broil setting on your oven?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just put it on to broil.
Hi, Lynn. Amy. We have a lot of marinade still left in the bowl. I missed. What do we do with it?
Just leave it. You're not going to use it anymore.
So our chicken is like heavily coated with the marinade. Looks like it's more than what you have in hand. Is that the broiling?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
As long as your pan isn't like swimming in marinade, it's okay. Griffin, do you have a question? No? Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to put my chicken in the oven. Should I wait? How many of you? Okay, thumbs up. How many of you are ready to put how many of you ready to put your chicken in the oven? Okay, how many of you are not? Okay, Taryn and Shamime, do you have a question? Mime, can you unmute them?
Oh, our chicken's already in there.
Oh, okay, good.
How long should we set the timer for?
You know what? I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes, but you can go ahead and set your timer for 3 minutes if you have one handy.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to put my chicken in the oven. It's okay. It's going to take a little while. It's going to be about 12 to 15 minutes of broiling, but we're going to be cooking for the next hour together. So even if your chicken isn't ready yet, we're going to take, whoever is done earlier, we'll just take it out to cool. Okay. All right.
Auntie Lena?
Yeah.
So I mixed all the spices in the yogurt together. Do I need to cut the tofu, or should I just kind of
cut the tofu into quarters? Cut the tofu. So let me show you, Michael. I'm going to show you how to cut this tofu really quick. Pretend this is my big block of tofu.
Okay.
Cut it in half this way.
Okay.
And then cut it in half this way.
Okay.
Where is it? This way, and then this way again. You want 4 pieces of tofu. You want like 4 rectangular flat planks. Hey Google, set a timer for 3 minutes. Alrighty, we're gonna start chopping some onions. Or actually, let's do the garlic first. We're gonna chop garlic again. So grab your garlic.
If our chicken finishes before like yours does, can we take it out and leave it in the oven?
We're gonna be flipping the chicken. So we're gonna be cooking it for a total of about 12 to 15 minutes. So we'll be flipping the chicken. That's why I have my timer only set for 3 minutes, because we're gonna check it every so often.
Hey, Lena.
Yes. Hi, David.
Hi. So because we have so many people here participating, we tripled the chicken recipe.
Okay.
Should we only use the top rack right under the broiler and do
Yes.
it, or can we
Yes.
put it on lower rack?
Only use the top rack.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Take a little bit longer, but it'll.
Yeah, it'll take too long. It's okay. I'll be here until you guys are all done. So.
Okay, we'll see you. We'll see you at midnight.
Alrighty.
Hey, Lena.
So, yeah.
Sorry, it's Leilani. We had put our chicken in already, and the 3-minute timer is already up. What should we be looking for?
It should be, you might need to keep it a little longer. You want it to be like little spots of dark char.
Oh, okay.
Like little burn spots. Little like caramelized burn spots are what you're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I have my garlic clove now. I'm going to take out about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. What I'm going to do is going to have us chop them all at the same time, but we're going to divide up the garlic. So we're going to use some of it for our vegetables later, and some of it's for the chicken. Okay, so if you have a parent nearby, or if you can, go ahead and grab another little ramekin or a little dish, because we're going to only use half the garlic for this chicken dish, and then we're going to save the other half for our greens later. So those of you who are ready to start chopping your garlic, go ahead. And you remember the steps you do when you chop garlic, right? You smash your garlic first so it's easier to peel. And then I like to cut the brown ends off the end of the garlic, and then you mince it. Okay. I'm gonna go slowly. Yes? Who has a question?
Lynna, our timer just went off. What should we do?
Okay, yeah, my timer's about to go off too. Just take a look at it. Take a look and look
Okay.
for brown and black char. If it's not browned or black yet, then put it back in the oven.
Okay.
There goes my timer. Hey, Google, stop. I'm gonna take my oven mitt and I'm just gonna check it really quick. Oh yeah, mine does not look like it's anywhere near ready to be charred yet. So I'm gonna put it back in. And I'm gonna set my timer. I think I'll set it this time for about 5 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
And we're starting now.
Okay, so go ahead and keep smashing your garlic and chopping your garlic. And remember to set aside half of your garlic. Yes?
How charred do we want our chicken to be right now?
You want there to be spots of brown, of like dark charred parts. What we're doing now is we're mimicking the what would happen if we were actually grilling our chicken. Like if we were outside grilling, you kind of like the brown, like burnt parts of the chicken to be part of the flavor. But we're not grilling, we're just doing it in the oven. So that's why we're gonna try to broil it.
So if it's like brown, should we flip it and wait another 3 minutes?
Yeah. If it's starting to get brown, like dark pieces, like dark parts, go ahead and flip it over and put it back in your oven for another like 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna chop my garlic. Chop it finely.
He doesn't want to do it. Yeah, just a little bit. Because it's kind of hard for me to pay attention to the instructions and also cook at the same time. So we need half of the garlic. So I have some cloves here. That maybe I'm gonna do one more. I think this is half, not a little more. I don't know where you're supposed to. Oh yeah. You need to. Right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Lynna, Ai.
Oh yes.
Should we set apart our garlic after we cut it or before?
Sorry, say that again.
Should we set apart half of our garlic before we cut it or after?
No, after.
After. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Auntie Lena.
Yes. Hi,
Excuse me.
Michael.
Hi. If all the tofu's like kind of covered, can I put it in the oven?
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead and lay it down flat on a sheet tray and put it in the oven.
Lynna,
Yes.
once it starts to char, do we flip it over?
Yes. Who is it starting to char? Who is that? Oh, Tegan. Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you.
Can I see your chicken? Where's Tegan? Do I see her here? Thank you. Let's see Tegan. Oh, I see Tegan. Tegan, I would char it a little bit longer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody. So I'm finished chopping my garlic. I'm going to put half in a ramekin, which I'm going to set aside for our sauteed vegetables later. I'm going to leave half right here on my cutting board off to the side. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to chop onion.
Auntie Lena,
Yes.
do you think this is ready?
Is this Natalie?
This is Avery.
Oh, Avery. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Do we flip it? Should I
Go
flip
ahead and flip it over. Yes, go ahead and flip it over, and then try to get it to look like that on the other side. So for our onion, we're gonna chop our onions now. This onion is gonna go into our chicken tikka masala. It's gonna form the base of our sauce. And for those of you who haven't seen me cut an onion yet, what I'm doing is I'm taking my onion, I'm cutting off the root end and the stem end. Okay, and that makes it easier to peel. And then I have my garbage bowl here. I'm gonna peel the onion. I'm gonna take the stem end and the root end off and peel the skin off. And we're gonna just chop it. It doesn't have to be perfectly chopped. I'll show you how I'm gonna chop mine. You just want it to be roughly chopped, it's fine. Not too big pieces, not too tiny. And then while I chop, I'll tell you a story about some research that Claire and I did for what chicken tikka masala is. So as I mentioned in my marinade video, chicken tikka masala is not a very super authentic Indian dish. It was kind of invented to appeal to the taste of non-Indian people who still kind of like Indian food, but wanted something a little less spicy. Oh, hey Google, stop. So I'm gonna check my chicken, excuse me. For those of you who wanna check your chicken now, this might be a good time. So we'll check it out, Clara.
Lynna, speaking of chicken, I think you said this. Are we to put the chicken in about 3 or 4 sides on each side, keep flipping it and do that several times?
Maybe like just flip it like a couple times. Doesn't have to be several.
Okay, but at 3 minutes each side, a few times.
Yeah, or like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, so a total of about 15 minutes.
Yeah, total of about
thank
15
you.
minutes. So let me see, which camera am I on? I'm on main. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you if you can see what my chicken looks like on one side. So my oven is a little bit hotter in the back. So what I'm gonna do, as I see the chicken towards the back of my tray, it's a little bit browner than the chicken near the front. So I'm gonna put it in, but I'm gonna flip it around and put the other side in first now. So that the chicken in the back of the oven can get brown. So I'm gonna put it back in and set another timer for 5 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. All right. I'm gonna start chopping my onion. I'm gonna cut it in half and I'm gonna set it down in the flat side. And then I'm gonna cut like little vertical lines, maybe not all the way through, but just part way through. And I'm cutting each slice about maybe a ½ inch wide. You can see here, just like ½ inch wide, like these strips like this. And then this way I can cut them in half again this way. And then I get little cubes or little chunks. So each chunk is about this big. And I'm gonna do the same with my second half. So what I was saying is that this dish is about 50 years old. And what we read was that somebody in India, probably a British diner in India, tasted chicken tikka, which is like a chicken that's been marinated in a spiced yogurt. And then, can you mute me?
Lynna is cooking.
And then what happens is somebody thought it was too spicy. So then the legend is that one of the chef in the kitchen, he poured some cream and tomatoes over the chicken to kind of quell the spices a little bit. So that's how chicken tikka masala was born. All right. Hi, Mommy. Hi, Daddy. Good to see you from Cerritos. David's parents are joining us. Hi. All right. So everybody, now we're going to turn on our stove, but we're not going to put anything in it yet. We're just turning on our stove. Turn it to about medium heat. Okay, just medium. And we're just going to let your let your pot heat up for now. Okay. So I'm pushing aside my onion, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prep our ginger. So for those of you who like ginger, who don't mind it in your dish, I'm taking off a little bit of ginger and I'm going to peel it like we did for our marinade. So I'm going to take off like a teaspoon's worth of ginger, and I'm going to peel it with my paring knife.
And Lynna, hi, are we turning on
stove for the pan or the pot?
Oh, for the pot. This is we're just gonna do our chicken tikka first. It's for the pot.
Auntie Lynna,
Yes?
do I put half the garlic in the bowl?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Wait, so am I supposed to put half of the garlic that I mixed in the bowl?
Yes. Leave the other half on your cutting board and put the other half in a bowl. We're gonna save that other half for the sauteed greens later. So I'm peeling my ginger. And for those of you who are gonna add it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grate it with my microplane like I did for my marinade the other day. And if you don't have a microplane, you can use the small holes of a grater. You can also use your knife and mince it by hand. But I'm gonna use my, my microplane here, and I'm just gonna grate it over my onions. Okay, so I'm just gonna grate it right onto my cutting board over my onions. And now you want just about a teaspoon. So you can eyeball how much you like. If there's someone in your family that is not a huge fan, but doesn't mind too much ginger, this is a good amount to use, about 1 teaspoon. And the reason we're grating it also is so that it melts into the sauce, so that you're not getting like a big chunk of garlic or that nobody bites into a chunk. The grating of it kind of mellows it out and helps it melt and spread out into the sauce more.
Okay. Hi, Lynna.
Yeah.
What temperature should the pot be at? Like the heat for the pot?
Medium.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so I have my ginger grated, and now I'm gonna turn to my stove. So get your cutting boards ready. We're gonna start transferring things into the hot pot. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add oil to our pot. So you can use a vegetable oil if you have it. You can look at me, Mimi. If you want, you can use a vegetable oil. That's what I recommended because that's what most people commonly have. Hey Google, stop. Oh, before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and check my chicken again. Oh yeah, see now it's all browned on, where am I? Here, yeah. Brown on both, browned all over. So I'm gonna flip my chicken. I'm gonna use a clean pair of tongs and flip my chicken. Okay, all right. So flipping my chicken, I'm gonna put it back into the oven and I'm gonna set another timer for 5 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. Okay. If it's scorching, turn it over or put it onto your cutting board.
Okay, thank you.
Okay guys, so I'm gonna start adding our oil to our hot pot. So I'm gonna add, you can also use ghee, and this is ghee. This is what's often used in Indian cooking. It's like a kind of clarified butter. It's the butter where they've had the milk curds skimmed off. So I'm gonna use ghee, but you can use vegetable oil, it's just fine. And I'm gonna use about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil or ghee. So you can go ahead and eyeball, don't need to measure, just kind of rotate your oil 2 times around the pot. And just, it's okay to be generous with the oil. So I'm just melting my ghee into my pot. Miley has a question. What's up, Miley? Can you unmute Miley? Yeah, she's muted.
No, that was from before. Sorry, I will take it
Oh,
away.
okay. Okay. All right. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and put your onion, your ginger, and your garlic into your hot pan, into your hot pot.
What?
Okay, Ellie, we're moving over.
And then stir around the onion and ginger and garlic mixture. Be careful, your pot's gonna be pretty hot.
Auntie Lena,
Yeah?
do we put the garlic in the pot too?
Yes. The garlic, ginger, and onion all go into the pot. If it seems like it's getting too hot, you can turn down your heat. But I have my heat at around medium right now.
Are we putting all of the onion in?
Yes, all the onion goes in. All of the ginger goes in if you're using ginger, and only half of the garlic that you chopped, because the other half we're going to save for our sautéed greens.
Lena, how much onion was it? One whole onion?
Yes, I put in one whole onion.
I guess I could take onion.
Yes?
So if our chicken is kind of blackening on both sides, we just take it out of the oven?
Yeah, go ahead and take it out, Tim, and turn off your oven.
Lena, what do we do when we have broiled it on both sides?
You can take it out of the oven. Avery, is it nice and charred on both sides? Are there little like brown spots on it?
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Every piece?
Yeah.
Okay, then go ahead and take it out of your oven and turn off your oven.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Auntie Lena?
Yes, Clayton? Yeah, that's pretty good. Did you turn it over yet?
Yes.
Okay, then go ahead and take it out and take it and let it cool. We'll work with that later. Asher,
Lena?
Yes? Hayati?
Is it supposed to be like cooked all the way, or is it supposed to just be charred?
Charred. It doesn't have to be cooked all the way because we're gonna simmer it some more in the sauce.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so we're letting our onions cook. Yes. Any other questions?
The chicken looks like Steven's okay.
What was that?
Okay.
That's fine. That's good. Nice. Beautiful. The char is nice. How are you guys doing, Coda and Xiaomei? Good.
Lena?
Oh, sorry, Taryn and Xiaomei. Yes, David.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We have a question.
Okay.
We're
Sure.
doing 3/4 of our operation is chicken and 1/4 is tofu. Can we saute all the veggies and the tomato and the coconut milk and everything together, and then separate out the little bit for the tofu versus the
Sure.
chicken?
You can do that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay, so your onions should be cooking along. We're gonna add our spices next. So go ahead and get your measuring spoons, your garam masala, your chili powder, and your chili pepper if you're gonna use it. Hey Google, stop. So my chicken timer just went off again, so I'm gonna check my chicken, but go ahead and get your spices ready. Your garam masala, your cayenne pepper, and your chili pepper if you're using it. I'm gonna flip my chicken. And go ahead and give your onions a stir every so often.
Hey, Lena, can you repeat the measurements again, please?
Yeah, so for the garam masala, we're gonna use 1.5 tablespoons. 1.5 tablespoons of the garam masala. Oops. Okay, so you can go ahead and add that to your onions and your ginger and garlic mixture on the stove. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So 1.5 tablespoons of the garam masala is going in. And what this does is it kind of toasts the spices over the heat. When you toast spices, it brings out the flavor and it makes it just stand out more. So I'm gonna add my garam masala in. I'm mixing it together. Is there a stove? Okay, cool. Grace, Austin, you have a question?
Yeah, how much garam masala?
1.5 tablespoons. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add, if you want, you can add some chili powder. I am going to use ancho chili powder today. And I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons. If you don't want it too spicy, you don't have to add this, or you can add just a little bit if you want. But I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons, not tablespoons, teaspoons of the ancho chili powder. You can use less if you want, or you can not use it at all. Okay, and the last thing we're going to add is the cayenne pepper. And you just want to use half a teaspoon. So this is a little bit spicier. I'm just going to use half a teaspoon of this. And keep stirring your onion mixture. Keep stirring your onion and your ginger and garlic mixture as you're adding the spices, because you want the spices to be distributed evenly into your sauce. So mine's starting to look like that now. Okay. So go ahead and get all your spices in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to open our tomato cans and start adding our tomatoes. So go ahead and add go get your tomato cans here, and your can opener if you're using a can. Tomatoes can also come in a box, and you can find a way to open the box either with a pair of kitchen shears. So the one thing I'm going to tell you about cans is that sometimes cans from a grocery store can be kind of dirty. They can be a little dusty. They can be, you know, I don't know. My mom told me that they were very dirty. So I've always made it a habit of taking a wet paper towel and just wiping the tops before I open it. So I'm just taking a damp paper towel and just wiping the top of the can, and then throwing my paper towel into the compost bowl. And then I don't know if all of you have had a chance to use a can opener yet, but here's my can opener. And if you don't have a parent nearby and you've never opened a can, I'll walk you through this. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to keep stirring your onions because we want to make sure that it doesn't burn. But we're about to add our tomatoes soon, so that'll keep it from burning. So I'm gonna take my can opener, and you see here, I'm just taking it, there are these two little wheels. I'm gonna take the top, I'm holding my can opener like this. And I'm right-handed, so my right hand is on top of the top handle, and my left hand is on the bottom handle. I'm gonna stick the top wheel, I'm gonna kind of dig it into the top of the can and puncture it right at the seam. And then I'm gonna turn the wheel, turn my can opener wheel so that it almost hits the other side, but not all the way. Does that make sense? So, and then I'm gonna very carefully, with my nail or with a knife if you need to, very carefully open the lid and go ahead and pour the whole thing, the whole can into your, well, it depends, let's see. We just need 35 ounces. So I'm using almost this whole can of tomato sauce, tomatoes. So I'm gonna use half of this can. I'm using 35 ounces. So whatever is 35 ounces, I'm adding straight into the onions.
Lynna,
yeah.
Taking a long time to broil, and so
mine's still boiling too, Jamie.
Okay, so we're supposed to flip it over?
Yeah, you're supposed to flip it. If it starts to get brown on one side, flip it to the other side.
Okay. And then what you said about yogurt like a few minutes ago, can you say something about yogurt?
Hey Google, stop. I don't know if I said anything about yogurt.
Okay.
But you don't need the marinade anymore. You can toss it now.
Okay.
Hey, I may have mentioned yogurt in reference to how it was invented.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Griffin and Heidi.
We have diced fire roasted tomatoes.
Sure.
That we should. Can we just throw that in, or should we like blend
Yeah.
it? Like
No,
throw
throw
it
it in. Throw it in. So I'm going to demonstrate again how I'm opening my can. Again, I'm taking my right hand and my left hand. My right hand's on top because I'm right-handed. I'm going to dig that top wheel into the top of the can and puncture it right at the seam, like that. And then I'm going to turn it while I'm kind of gripping the can opener, the two handles tightly. And then I'm going to take it off, take my can opener off, and then very carefully with my nail or with a knife, taking the top lid off, just opening it, and then I'm pouring this whole can in, and that will make 35 ounces of tomatoes for me. All right.
Auntie Lena?
Yes?
Have you put in the cayenne pepper?
I did. I already added the cayenne pepper. Yes.
Okay.
Just use just use a half a teaspoon if you want it a little spicy.
Okay, thank you.
So you're welcome. So my chicken's done. My chicken's pretty much browned on all sides. I'll show you here on my cutting board what it looks like. I'm just gonna set it aside. If your chicken is still broiling, it's fine. You can let it keep broiling. But this is what it should roughly look like, is lightly browned and maybe even charred on top. But we're gonna let it cool for now off to the side. And we're gonna continue working on our sauce, which is almost done. So go ahead and stir the tomatoes into your onion and your spice mixture. Okay, so it's all mixed together. So we're just gonna let that simmer for a little while. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of salt and sugar to your tomatoes. So if you have your sugar nearby, we just need a pinch. A pinch of sugar is, if you really needed to measure it, it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm just gonna use my hands and I'm just gonna take like a healthy pinchful. So it looks like, I don't know, like, oh, there's the camera. There it is. Wrong camera. There. Yeah, there. The phone. Oh, the phone. There. So I'm adding a pinch of sugar to my sauce. And we can add more later. Don't add too much. Just add enough to see if we can taste it later. We'll taste it along the way. And then I'm going to add some salt and pepper. So the amount of salt I'm going to add is, again, it's up to your preference. I'm going to start with about 1 teaspoon of salt. And then what we'll do is we'll we'll taste it after we add the chicken too. And if it needs to, we can add more salt later if necessary. Okay, and then if you have your pepper, we'll add pepper nearby. Here's my black pepper. Here. So I'm going to add a few grinds of black pepper. Okay, how's everyone doing? Can you unmute everyone, maybe? How's everyone doing? Any questions?
Lena, did you add cardamom to the pot? I didn't hear if you did or not.
I did not add cardamom. The cardamom was in the marinade.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Lena?
Yeah.
Ours looks like a lot like tomato sauce. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mine looks like tomato sauce too. And you just stir it every so often, but we're just gonna let it simmer right now. And what simmering means is just letting it kind of, it's just under a boil. You want to see like little bubbles every so often, or little bubbles around the edges. But what the simmering is doing is it's melding and blending all the flavors together. Keo, what's your question?
So we fell a little bit behind because it took a while for the oven to heat up so we could put the chicken in. So I kind of didn't gather all of the information. So I remember you were talking about like adding some of the spices.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to do for that because I was still waiting to put the chicken in.
Okay. So Ko, do you have your spices in yet? You don't have it into the onions yet?
No.
Okay, so go ahead and add 1.5 tablespoons of the garam masala. Okay, Ko, 1.5 tablespoons of garam masala and 1.5 teaspoons of the chili pepper.
Powder.
All right.
1.5 tablespoons of garam masala.
Yes.
And then 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder.
Yes, if you like it spicy.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
I had less.
Aiden, you have a question?
How much salt do you add?
How much salt? I started with 1 teaspoon. I started with 1 teaspoon of salt into my sauce. You can add more later if you'd like. Hi, Annie. Hi, Pink. How are you guys? Do you have a question? Do you have a question?
Well, because the internet's so bad, we're trying to call in using the phone audio.
Oh.
It's not working. It's okay. Our internet's okay right now. We'll just leave it.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of skip. We're gonna let the sauce and the chicken just kind of rest for a little bit. So go ahead and turn your stove onto simmer, right, or to like medium low, just so that it's simmering. Because we're gonna work on something else right now. We're gonna cut up our green vegetable that we're gonna saute in a minute. So if you have your green vegetable ready, washed and draining, go ahead and grab it. And we're gonna put it on your cutting board and cut that up first. So if you have chard, or if you have kale, or if you have spinach, go ahead and grab your green vegetable. Where's my, oh, here. There. All right, so I happen to use a vegetable today that's called a pea leaf. It doesn't require a lot of chopping, so I can actually kind of walk you through what you're going to be chopping. So Avery, what do I see? You have, is that kale? No, is that chard? Okay, nice. So if you have chard, go ahead. If anyone else has chard, go ahead and stack your leaves on top of each other and make sure that the leafy parts all together and the stemmy parts all together, and cut up your stem part first. There you go. Okay, Avery, so line up your leaves, stack them on top of each other in a pile, and then chop your stems.
I already chopped.
And then you can cut your leaves into ribbons.
You gotta come and check this.
Michael, do I see that you have broccolini?
It was kale.
Oh, kale too? Okay, yeah, so same thing. If you want to keep the stems on your kale, you can do that, but I like to take the stems off because they can be a little bit tough. So if you want to just strip the stem from the leaf, you can do that, and then pile them up and then chop them into strips. And put it back into your colander. Put it back into your colander because we're going to want this cutting board again to cut up the chicken in a little bit.
Lynna?
Yes.
After I cut off the stems, what do I do with the chard?
Oh, so you can go ahead and put it back in your colander.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah, we just want to we want to clear the cutting board because we're going to use the cutting board again. What's up, Ko?
Do I have to do anything with the baby spinach?
No. If your baby spinach, is it washed?
Mama, is this one?
You can just stop. We should cut these smaller, right?
Okay, who else has a question? Hi, Jenny. My cousin. Hi, Jeannie.
Wait, how much do we need?
Sonia, how much? What do you need?
How much of your
Oh, just use a whole bunch of it, enough for your family. Natalie has a question.
So mine about collards. So what should we do?
Well, so for collards, I would just do the same treatment. Just go ahead and cut it into very thin ribbons. Cut it into very thin ribbons.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What
do you have,
veggie
Zach? Oh, I just had pea leaves.
Oh,
in Chinese is
Oh,
da
yummy.
miao, so
Yeah.
I don't need to cut it. So I figured I could just kind of walk everyone through their vegetable.
Yeah, we pre-cut. Is this too big?
No, it's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. What do you have, Asher?
Chard.
Chard, nice. Perfect. What do you have, Mayati?
I have this, so I'm not gonna cut it.
Yeah, you don't
Maybe
need to cut
spinach.
that. Perfect, easy. How about you, Sophia? You're gonna skip this step because you're eating tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. How about you, Talia? What do you have?
I have kale.
Oh, nice. Okay, are you gonna strip your leaves off the stem?
Should I?
You can. How do you guys ever have sautéed kale at home?
Yeah, I usually leave the stem on.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You can leave the stem on. Yeah.
Thanks.
How about you? Oh, Mayati, do you have a question? No? Okay. Zach, what do you have? What kind of vegetable do you have, Zach? What is that? Kale. Okay, you're gonna strip your leaves off, or you're gonna leave the stem on? Yeah, you are stripping. Okay. Sophia, do you have a question? You have your hand raised.
Wait. For the stem, how like thick should I cut them into?
You can just cut it into like 1/2 inch.
Okay,
Yeah.
now what we're gonna do.
Lynna?
Yes, David?
At what stage in the whole process do we put in the cream? Because we're gonna have some with cream and some with coconut milk.
So that's the next thing we're gonna add to this sauce now is the cream after we're done, after everyone
Okay, great.
processes their vegetable. Mhm.
Thanks, we'll separate them.
Yeah, if you wanna add it now, David, you can.
Okay, thanks.
Kale, what's your question, Kale?
So what our chicken is not getting charred at all.
It's not?
Yeah, it's taking a really long time.
Is it browning at all?
A little bit. Wait, can you open
Okay.
it?
That's okay. Just get it to where
It is. A little bit.
yeah, it's fine. And don't forget to flip it so that both sides get kind of cooked and browned. Okay. Miley, you have a question, Miley?
No.
No.
What would you said to go ahead and add the coconut milk or cream or whatever? What are we adding it to?
Yeah, you can. So that's the next step. We can all do that together. If once people are kind of done with their vegetable, if you want to move on ahead, Lisa and Miley, you can. The next step is to add 1 cup of coconut milk or cream.
To what?
To the sauce.
Okay.
To your tomatoes.
Excuse me. Should I cut the kale as well as tear it off the stem?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Cut the kale up into strips. Who else is? Karen, what do you have?
Oh, we are doing cabbage, but we're doing something different.
Gorgeous. Okay, perfect. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and keep working on your vegetable. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna add my cream and my almonds. So if you're adding almonds, you can do that. You don't have to do it right this second if you're still in the middle of doing your vegetable, but I'm gonna add my almonds, my chopped almonds that I ground up the other day, and I'm gonna add my cup of cream to my sauce. And like I said, the almonds are optional. I added almonds because, well, my kids aren't fans of nuts, but they can't really tell it's in this dish. But it does add body and it adds flavor. So I like to add it in here. And this, let's see, there's just this cream here. I'm just gonna pour in about 1 cup. I didn't measure this time, but you can. And you'll see when you stir the cream into the sauce, how beautiful the color looks for the sauce. It'll kind of turn like a light brown, light orange.
Should we keep it on low or turn it to medium?
You can keep it on low. You can keep it on low, and then we can turn it up later once we add our chicken. So the reason I had you cut your vegetables now is because we want your cutting board to be clear so that we can cut up our chicken next. So if you have your vegetables cut, go ahead and put them back into your colander where it was draining. So we want a clear cutting board again. If it's a little wet, you can take a paper towel and just kind of wipe it. But what the goal is for you to just be able to use the same cutting board to cut up your chicken.
Lena, we were short on our tomatoes. We're waiting for our other ones to arrive home soon. Should we hold off on putting the coconut milk in? To the tomatoes?
Yeah. Wait till the tomatoes go in before you add the coconut milk or the cream. Any other questions? How you doing, Cameron?
We finished cutting up our vegetables and we pre-cut
Cool.
yesterday, so.
Okay, great. So is your cutting board clear?
Yeah. Well, no.
Okay. No. Okay. Well, go ahead and clear your cutting board, and then we can start adding our. We're gonna grab your chicken, your chicken pan, and we're going to start cutting up our chicken next. Hey, Kaya, what's your question?
Wait, did you already put in the coconut milk?
Yes, I added, well, I'm using cream, but you can add coconut milk now.
Oh yeah, we need to wait.
Wait, ask her.
What's your question, Kaya?
We didn't put the chicken in yet.
Because the
No, my chicken's not in yet either.
Oh, okay.
We're about to cut up our chicken.
How much cream / coconut milk do we need to add in?
I'm adding 1 cup because I'm doing one version, one recipe, one recipe. So I added 1 cup. Hey Rosa, how you doing? Hey Kaya, what's up?
So the top of ours is completely solid. Is that the same? Is that the same?
Stir it. Yeah, go ahead and stir the cream. That's the cream that settled on top. Go ahead and stir it into the liquid part with a spoon.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead and stir that in, and then it'll kind of even out.
Lena, do you think?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, beautiful. Nelson's. Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead and start chopping it up. We're gonna walk through that stuff next. Okay, so for those of you who are ready to cut up your chicken, take your tongs and place your chicken onto the cutting board.
Oh, I need to mute myself.
There. And I'll show you how big I'm gonna cut my chicken. So they're gonna be about roughly like 2-inch pieces. So just like big chunks. Not too small, but like this size here, I'll show you, like that. Like a kind of a hearty mouthful. So this is how big I'm cutting mine. Oh, what's your question, Michael?
Never mind. It was already.
Okay, cool.
That's okay.
All right. So I'm going to keep cutting my chicken, everybody. Go ahead and the next thing we're going to do after this is just add it to the sauce. It's 6 o'clock now. I think we'll be done at about 6:15. So just a heads up.
Hi, Lena.
Yeah?
So Sophia interpreted 1 cup of coconut milk to be 1 can.
Oh, okay. It'll be extra creamy and tasty. You might want to add a little bit extra salt to that, Sophia, because the coconut milk isn't that savory. So you'll want to add a little extra salt later. That's all. It's always easy. It's pretty easy to recover from most cooking mistakes, believe it or not. Sometimes you just have to add a little bit extra vegetable or a little bit more salt or a little bit more protein. You might have an extra saucy chicken. That's perfectly fine, because tomorrow you can just add a little bit extra tofu or chicken to it. I've had many kitchen disasters where I've had to save myself from making a mistake, and it's fine. There's one time when I was cooking at a bake shop, Bake Sale Betty, and I mistook the baking powder for baking soda, and a whole batch, like 32 loaves of banana bread, I had to toss because it tasted really bad. There was no salvaging that batch of banana bread. Most of my kitchen disasters happen when I'm baking. Okay, so I have all my chicken cut up. Oh, what's your question, Taryn? Mimi?
We're done cutting our chicken. Should we put
Awesome. Yes, put it in your sauce. Let's do it. Let's do it together. I'm gonna put mine in too. So as you're done cutting up your chicken, go ahead and throw it into your sauce. Give your sauce a stir. Make sure you're kind of scraping the bottom of the pot to make sure that if there are any bits that are on the bottom that are stuck on the bottom, make sure you scrape it up. I'm also scraping the side of my pot too, just to make sure all the spices that maybe got stuck on the side are incorporated in. And now I'm just gonna add in my chicken. And again, if you haven't already added your almonds, go ahead and do that too. I added mine when I added my cream. I'm adding in all my chicken and then throwing it, sorry, I'm gonna put my cutting board into the sink because I don't need my cutting board anymore. And then I'm just gonna stir my sauce, my chicken into my sauce. Okay, so we're just gonna let the chicken and the sauce sit here on like medium-low temperature for a little bit, for like maybe another 5 minutes just to cook all the way through. Any questions?
Lynna, I have a question.
Hey, John.
I'm not sure, but it kind of looks like we don't have enough sauce. It's not sauce.
Really? Go ahead and do you have more tomato? Can you stir it for me? Can you stir it? That seems about right, John. That
Is that
seems
okay?
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, totally. Yeah. You're good.
Okay.
Anyone else want to show me what they have? They have a question? Okay. So once your chicken is in your sauce, give it a stir and maybe turn the heat to low or to medium low. My stove is my burner's a little bit powerful over here, so I'm gonna put mine on low. And as your chicken is simmering, we're gonna saute our green vegetable and then we'll be done. Okay, so I hope to get us out of here and at your dinner tables, or serving at least, by 6:15. So grab your saute pan. Grab your saute pan that you're gonna cook your green vegetable in, and choose the oil, turn on the heat, and choose the oil that you're gonna use to saute your vegetable. So for some of you, it might be olive oil, it might be vegetable oil, it might be more ghee. And grab your garlic. Okay, so move your vegetable over to the stove near your heating pot, your skillet that's your pan that's heating. And I'm gonna put in some oil. So I think I'm gonna use grapeseed oil for this one. So go ahead and add in your grapeseed oil or whatever oil you're using. I'm using about 2 or 3 tablespoons because I have quite a big batch of green vegetable.
How high should I turn it to?
Let's do medium for now. I would say either medium high or medium or medium high, depending on the vegetable you have. If you have kale or if you have kale, I would go with medium high. If you have spinach or chard, I would maybe go with medium. Kale is a hardier vegetable and it probably requires a little bit more heat to get tender. Spinach is pretty delicate, so it doesn't need a whole lot of heat. And chard too. Chard's kind of in between kale and spinach. So chard, I would say medium to medium high. So go ahead and add your oil into your pot. Let the oil get hot, and then add your garlic that you set aside. Remember earlier we had our garlic? So go ahead and add your garlic to the pot. If it's not sizzling, you should turn your heat up a little bit higher. It should be sizzling. And then just stir it around. You don't want the garlic to burn. So as soon as I get my garlic in and I see it kind of sizzling, I'm gonna throw my vegetables in. I can hear it, the water from the vegetable, making it really sizzle. And then the next thing to add is some salt. So I'm going to start with about a teaspoon of salt. I'm also going to add more vegetable because as the vegetable hits the heat, it's going to start to shrink. So I didn't put in all my vegetable at once, but I am going to add in more as the vegetable starts to shrink in the heat. Any questions? Can I mute people maybe? Okay. If your vegetables are, you can turn your heat up too. If you don't feel like the pan is hot enough, you can go ahead and turn your heat up a little higher. And just don't forget to flip from the bottom too. So flip from the bottom. Is there a question? Okay. Hey, Sophia in Pittsburgh. Can I ask you a question? So you're not doing the vegetable now, but your chicken's done, right? Mm-hmm. You got your chicken in? Can you do me a favor and take a clean spoon and taste it? I want you to taste it for salt and taste it for sugar. So it should be salty, but it also should be a little bit sweet. So start tasting and then add more as you need to. So those of us who are cooking vegetable, go ahead and keep sauteing and add more salt as needed too. If you're adding more vegetable, you'll probably need a little bit more salt. You want to make sure to season your vegetables well. And if you're cooking spinach, you're probably about done. If you have baby spinach and you started when I started, your baby spinach is probably about done. If you're cooking chard, you might be close to being done as well. And then you can come back to me. Do you have a question, anybody? Ellie, you have a question? No? Okay. Good technique, Tegan. Good technique. You too, Talia. Gorgeous. Talia, you'll be really nice with your kale is a squeeze of lemon on top after. Okay, so when you're done with your, yeah, put a little squeeze of lemon. So Lori and Sophia, how did your sauce taste? Did you end up adding?
We added a little bit more of each actually, because it was, well, I think it needed it, right?
Good, good. So it's salty enough?
Good though. Yeah, and you want to taste it again? There's that's British tea.
Hey, Lynna?
Great. Yes, John?
Can we come back from too much spicy?
more cream.
More cream? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
Hey, Wa. Okay. My vegetable's done, so I'm gonna turn off my heat. I'm gonna grab my serving bowl and I'm gonna serve it up because I don't want my vegetables to overcook either. If you're cooking kale, like Talia, and like I think who else was cooking kale? Zach and Michael, I think. Oh, and Joyce. You can add some lemon. A squeeze of lemon would be really nice over it. And also, don't forget, you can taste it too. Taste it for saltiness. If it's not salty enough, add a little bit of salt before you take it off the heat. Okay, so I'm plating my vegetable. I'm gonna set it off to the side. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna taste our chicken and then we'll be done. So let's see, everybody, how's your chicken tasting? Take a clean spoon and taste it for salt and sugar. So mine needs a little bit more salt. Mine's pretty spicy too, John. But I'm hoping with rice.
Yeah.
If you serve it with the rice and you serve it with the vegetable, it'll cool it down a little bit. Has anyone? Yeah.
I'm just wondering about so some of the chicken was definitely not cooked when we took it out of the broiler. You know, it was like brown but not cooked through. So do we need to worry about like that? Like, does it need to sit on the stove in the sauce for a certain period of time before we pull it off, or?
I think if you, as long as it's in the sauce for about 5 to 8 minutes, it'll be enough it should be enough to cook the chicken all the way through.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Did you guys end up using the paneer?
We did. We have 2 pots going.
Cool.
We have a chicken pot and a paneer pot.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. I want to see how the paneer, I want to hear how the paneer turns out.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't forget to taste it for seasoning. So taste it for salt and sugar.
Lynna?
Yes? Who is that? Okay, is that, no, who is that? Who's that?
Coda. It's May.
Oh, hi, Coda. Hi, Xiaomei. What's up?
The tomato stuff should still be cooking, right?
The tomato and the chicken should be all combined together. And when did you put in your chicken?
Well, maybe 10 minutes ago.
Oh, it should be done.
Okay.
So, but just taste it now, Taryn and Xiaomei. Taste it for salt and sugar. Take a clean spoon and dip it into your sauce, and make sure it's spicy enough and salty enough and sweet enough.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Tegan, I see you tasting yours. What do you think? Good. Awesome. How about you, Asher? You taste yours yet?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does it taste okay?
Yeah.
Okay. If it needs more sugar, yeah, add more sugar. How are you, Shayna?
Good.
Good. Does it taste okay?
Yeah. Tastes
okay. Good. Sophia Shen in San Francisco, have you tasted yours yet? Okay, take a spoon and taste it.
Thank you, Lynna. This is really good.
Who is that? Was that
Tegan.
Asher saying? Oh, Tegan. Oh, good. You guys made a very ambitious dish. So I'm done. I'm going to be here. If anyone wants to log off and start serving, Lori and Sophia, you'll want to let your chicken cool for a while before putting it in the fridge. Okay. And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.